Hey folks, welcome back. My name is Krishna. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So this time around, I want to share with you some techniques that I use to go ahead and create this photo collage, if you will. Basically, it's like an assortment of images that I've drawn on individual files. I've brought them in and I've arranged them in such a way that it creates some type of a narrative. And I want to share with you techniques that you can use to create these photo frames and then also have the ability to reuse them in Photoshop as you need to. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about this technique first. So the way I'm going to approach this is I'm going to go ahead and first of all draw a photo frame of some type. And that corner is not so great. So there we go. I've got the first outline. You want to put this on its own layer. Very, very important. I'm going to hit Command J. What that does is it makes a copy of the previous layer. Command T brings up the transform tool. And if I want to scale this copy in such a way that it makes the inner border of this photo frame, I want to hold down the Shift and the Option keys. And I can move it in like this. And then if I let go of the Option key, I can just simply adjust one side as needed. So that's looking pretty good. I'll hit Enter. I'll make a new layer underneath. I'm going to use the Magic Wand tool now to go ahead and select the region outside of the photo frame. And then I'll inverse the selection. And this way it'll give the photo a white background. So on a brand new layer, I'll switch to the Magic Wand tool. It's in your toolbar. If you don't see it, you might have quick selection, but pressing and holding down this toolbar option will show you the subtools. So I'm going to choose Magic Wand tool. And I've got numbers here, tolerance of 55, anti-alias, contiguous, and sample all layers. If you want to know more about those individual settings, I've got a video about the Magic Wand tool, and I'll put a link to that in the description for this video if you're interested. So what I'll do now is I'll click outside of the photo frame, and I'll now hold down Shift, Command I to inverse the selection, and then I will fill this in with white. So essentially what I have here is a white photo frame with its borders. So I want to be able to reuse this photo frame over and over again and basically be able to scale it up, scale it down, and what have you. So you'll also want to, for this effect, you want to go ahead and make sure libraries is visible. So libraries basically contains assets that you currently have that you can reuse from machine to machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift select all of these three layers, and I'm going to simply drag it into my library. And you can see that what it's doing is it's basically looking at those three layers, it's processing it, and it's placed it in. And what I can do now is I can simply drag out from the library, and what it's doing is it's creating a smart object. So let me just go ahead and close the library here, or just move it off to the side. And I can rotate this, I can scale it up, I can hit Enter, and I can drag out another copy, make this smaller, and you can see all of these photo frames now have a nice clean overlap. So this is pretty cool, and what you can also do with this effect is you can go ahead and add a drop shadow. You can choose the layer that contains the smart object, and you can choose drop shadow. And you can just drag that drop shadow out just a smidge. You can adjust it to taste. I'm just going to leave it as is. And so now there's a little bit of depth. And what's really neat about this is I can go ahead and right click, copy the layer style, paste it to the other photo frame that I've got. And you can see the drop shadow is also there too. Now you can also bake the drop shadow in when you're actually saving it to the library, but I didn't do that, but that's entirely up to you. So to complete this effect, we need some pictures. We need to be able to place something inside the photo frame. And the advantage of actually having these on their own distinct layers is I can easily toggle the visibility of these layers. It actually streamlines some of the clutter that might be there if you were to do this on individual layers for a large document. So I do like this approach quite a bit. Let's go ahead and open and pick a new image here. So let's see. I'll take this image of Brigitte Bardot. And what I'll do is I've got this on multiple layers, and I'm going to hit Shift, Option, Command E. What that does is it merges all of my layers into one layer while preserving the layer stack. Then I'm going to select the whole thing, Command A. You can see the marching ants around the entire image. Command C for copy. And now this is important. When I go to the document here, let's take a look and see which one is, there we go, that's the one I want. I'm going to use my magic wand tool. I'm going to select inside this photo frame, and I'll go to Edit, Paste Special, Paste Into. And then if I hit the Command T key, I can rotate this and move it into position however I wish. And when I'm happy with it, I can hit return. So there we go. I've got a photo that's now placed inside the photo frame. And what I would recommend as you're working with this technique is to simply just shift select both the photo frame and the art, hit Command G, and I'll just call this Bridget. And so that way there's no confusion. Every photo will have its accompanying photo frame, and I can make this work. So I can just simply hide this layer. Let's go to the other layer that I have here. We'll just repeat the process. I'll go to File. I'll choose Open Recent here. Let me pick Train on the Tracks. Shift Command Option E. That's a really good keyboard shortcut to know. Merges all your visible layers into one. Command A to select all. Command C to copy. Go back to my original file. Use the magic wand tool. I'm selecting on the same layer that I currently have. I'll go to Edit, Paste Special, Paste Into, and then I might have to scale this down. So if I hold down the Option key, I can kind of scale this down. I'm not going to be able to fit the whole thing in there, but maybe that's not the point. The point might just be to show an interesting part of this composition. So I'll just maybe bring it in. Maybe something like that. Hit Enter. I'll group that by hitting Command G. I'll call this Train. I'll bring Bridget back. So now we have these two photos, essentially, that we can manipulate. And just to kind of close this whole thing off, if I wanted to, you know, make Bridget more like an old-timey photo, what I can do is I can go to Command U. I can choose Colorize. And I can just kind of give it a more of a sepia tone or more of like a bluish tint, whatever I want to do, some kind of monochromatic color, drop the saturation down. And now it's a vintage type of look. And you can kind of extrapolate from there. So that's the video. I hope you found some value in it. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Let me know what you want to see in future videos. That would be very, very helpful for me. As always, thanks for watching the videos. Let me know if I can be of any help, and I will see you in the next one. Later.